Hello, Highlander Nation. Today, Melissa and I have some very important news about graduate and professional school and how to get in.
That's right, Anio. Today, we're going to be speaking to you about graduate and professional school and the process that it seems to be very long and extensive for many UCR students. But don't get discouraged. There are different ways to go about that. However, first, I want to make sure that you know that whether you're first year, second year, third year, fourth year, or any year at UCR, you should be aware and informed about the different ways you can go about getting into graduate and professional school.
So, Melissa, what exactly is graduate and professional school?
That's a very good question, and it's very common among UCR students. Graduate and professional school is basically a program that prepares many students to go into the field of research and teaching careers such as chemistry, biology, history, dentistry, business administration, medicine, and any other industry or career you can think of. And for that, we have different ways of getting those sources. And for you, lucky UCR students, there are many organizations on campus that will help you prepare for this. Well, with that information, how do you go about applying for graduate and professional school, Anil?
Well, for some students, and if not all students, they really believe that the application process is overwhelming and sometimes discouraging, and that is absolutely true. Now, there are a couple of ways in which you can counteract that feeling, and one of the things that we like to tell students at the Career Center is to pay attention to deadlines, especially for the application process. Many schools have different forms that are due at different times, and just knowing those dates helps you plan out when those things are due and to keep the stress off. After the application form comes, there's the letters of reference file, there are transcripts to be sent, GPAs, test scores, financial aid packages, and the interview process. And a good thing to keep in mind when you're applying to grad school is the type of admissions program that each school offers. Some may offer things like early action, others may offer early admission, and some may offer programs in rolling admissions. And you really need to research those schools and know what exactly the application process is. And to tell us more about that, we have a representative from the Career Center. His name is Daryl Stevenson with us. He brings us to you. We bring him to you.
Okay, so you want to know about the application process, right? Well, I think the first thing about questions about the application process is there's no single process. I mean, every school does things a little differently. Every school requires a different set of statements, a different type of test. Their approach is just quite simply different. So the first rule is, follow the rules. Do what they tell you to do. Find out if you're taking the GRE or the Miller Analogy Test, for med school, the MCAT, when do you need to have them in. I think the biggest thing that students do wrong is they literally wait until the last minute to begin an application. Our advice would be that if you're planning on going to school, to graduate school, and you want to start in fall of 2011, you should probably be beginning the process in spring of 2010 in order to make it through all of the things that you need to do, securing statements from faculty, making sure that you get the test. And I would always take a test with enough time to do a retake if you need it. So once again, if you're planning to be applying for graduate school in the fall of 2011 and you know that the application is due in the fall of 2010, then I'd be taking the GRE or the MCAT or whatever as early as possible, maybe May or June of 2010, so that if you don't get the kind of result that you want, you have time to take it over. But always follow up with the various departments, programs that you've applied to. Make sure that everything that you are required to have has been put in your file. The fact of the matter is a lot of students will get turned down not because the application materials that they turned in were not good, but they just didn't turn in everything they were required to do. So the bottom line is you got to follow the rules. Don't be afraid to call the department in question and talk to the department manager or secretary and ask him or her how you go about the process of sending in your application, and come to the Career Center. Talk to us from time to time. Find somebody that will make you accountable in that process of applying so that you don't miss deadlines and dates.
So after you've done your application process, or after you've completed the application form and done all your research on the application process, students should really start considering taking test prep classes or how to prepare for tests. So Melissa, how do students do that?
Well, you see, graduate and professional schools require you to take another long, extensive, and very expensive test. But don't get discouraged. There are different organizations on campus that can help you with that process and that preparation. In fact, we encourage students to take a structural and thoughtful course in order to prepare for these extreme tests. For example, the Learning Center, the Counseling Center, and the Medical Careers program can help you prepare for these tests. As a matter of fact, the Counseling Center hosts the Miller's Analogies test, which is a very general test for many of the graduate and professional schools. So if you're interested in that, please come and visit the Counseling Center to get more information. So now that you know that, how do you go about paying for this or for all these tests?
So for students considering many schools, graduate schools, it's really important to know the funding process. And typically PhD programs offer a substantial amount of funding for research, but sometimes the master's programs don't always offer that much funding. So again, you really need to do your research, students, on exactly what type of funding the admissions process or the graduate school is offering. So up next, another question that a lot of students ask is the letters of reference. How do you go about filing it through the Career Center, and what exactly does the Career Center do for you for the letters of reference file?
Well, the letters of reference file, which is also known as the LOR files, is a service through the Career Center. What this is just an online archive which documents all of your letters of recommendations, letters of reference from the different professors or different important people that you'd like to get recommended from for graduate and professional school. This actually is a very common process because it's very beneficial for you, those of you who are interested in attending graduate and professional school. But for more information in regards to that, we have with us Angela Dominguez from the Career Center in charge of the letters of reference. So let's go live to Angela.
So why do you recommend students open a letters of reference file?
The letters of reference is a collection of letters written on the student's behalf for potential applications for graduate study or academic employment in K-12 and higher education settings. It serves as a convenience for those who write recommendations. Rather than write a separate letter for each of the many applications, the author writes one letter which remains on file whenever needed. The Letters of Reference service is maintained on the Career Center's ScotLink site and may be accessed 24 hours a day.
All right, thank you very much, Angela.
Finally, there are many different workshops that students can attend to get more information about the process for graduate and professional schools. And with that, Enyo's going to explain to you more about that.
That's right. Luckily for UCR students, the Learning Center provides all of those workshops for GRE, MCAT, Prep, LSAT Prep, and they range around, $150 going from 3 to 4 times a week, and they're administered by highly educated leaders and professional staff. So UCR students, if you have any questions about that, the Learning Center is the place to go for that. Otherwise, for test prep, we have Kaplan, and there's Princeton Review. There's other test prep courses out there online, so make sure to research on that and check those out.
That's right. Well, with all that information, that's all we have for you today. Thank you for watching this broadcast in regards to graduate and professional school. We hope to see you soon at one of our workshops to gain more information about this process, and do not get overwhelmed.
That's right, UCR students. Remember, don't be discouraged and don't stop believing.